Unit 2, Exercise 11, Reduce an invoice. Task 1, post an invoice with invoice reduction using Create Supplier Invoice. A supplier has sent you the following invoice. You notice that there is an obvious data error, so you use invoice reduction to correct it. So create supplier invoice. We will see this message later. Enter the header data and the purchase number. The invoice value is larger than expected in one item. Enter the invoice so that the system automatically reduces it when you post it. To do this, change the view for the invoice item list to invoice reduction. Okay, so here this is the selected variance. We are going to check with the invoice. So we have 10 pieces for 100 and 20 pieces for 60 here. And we are going to manually reduce this item. The taxes 160. And do not forget to deselect the third and the fourth item, as they will not be settled in this invoice. This and this. Check. So what do we have now? Simulate the document and fill out the table and then post and not the invoice number. So here we see that we have a balance which is okay, but we have here the invoice reduction amount manual for 66 euro. So we can simulate and check with the solution if we are okay. Here. So we have the account supplier, the good receipt for the item 10, item 20, the input taxes, and here we have the clearing invoice reduction for 60 euro in the supplier account, the clearing invoice reduction, and the tax. We're good with this. Choose post and you receive the message that displays the document. Good. Task 2. Post an invoice with invoice reduction using Create Supplier Invoice Advanced app. The supplier has sent you a second invoice for the purchase order. Post this invoice. Because this invoice also contains an obvious error, use the invoice reduction again to correct it. Create Supplier Invoice Advanced. Good. Enter the basic data and the purchase number. The invoice value is larger than expected in one item. Enter the invoice so that the system automatically reduces it when you post it. To do this, change the item display variant. The item display variant is here, that's the correct one. And we are going to adjust with the invoice. So here the correction, supplier error reduce invoice, and the price is 40. Amount reduced in invoice is now 40 euro. Good. And for the second item, 10 pieces, 40 euro. This one is not a reduction, this one is a correction of the invoice. So here the balance is okay. We are going to see. Do not forget to also correct the last item according to the supplier invoice, okay? Simulate the document and fill out the table. And here we are going to see the solution. We have the supplier account, good receipt and good receipt 30 and 40. Then we have 10 euro, which is the amount corrected, and the input taxes, and the clearing reduction for 40 euro in the account supplier 44, the clearing invoice reduction, okay, and the input tax. So we're good. Choose post, you receive the message. Invoice document was posted and the journal entry. 4. Display the invoice and PO history of item 30 and 40. How does the invoice reduction affect the PO history? Okay. Item 30 and 40. So here, in the process flow, we have a purchase order, good receipt, supplier invoice. We are going to open the following document. And we have two documents and one material ledger. The first one is for the goods. Okay. The second one is for the reduction invoice and taxes. And the last one is for the correction of the 10 euro in the invoice from the supplier. Okay. How many accounting documents are generated in the invoice? Okay. Now, task 3. Check the customizing. Perform this task in the backend. Okay. In customizing for logistic invoice verification, which document type is proposed for the credit memo document of invoice reduction? So, in the material management, logistic invoice verification, incoming invoice, we have the number assignment and maintain number assignment for accounting document. Document type in invoice verification, we use the Miro for entering the incoming invoices. And in it, we have the document type invoice reduction RK for the invoice reduction. Do not change any settings. Okay. Check customizing for automatic posting in relation to invoice reduction. Which transaction must also be maintained to use the invoice reduction, and which account is defined for the transaction for the UCA chart of account. Yes, material management, logistic invoice verification, configure automatic posting. Yes, account assignment. Here we have the invoice reduction from logistic invoice verification. The transaction is RKA, and in it we should find the account in the UCA. This is the account for invoice reduction from logistic invoice verification. Voila.